Well, let's talk about it. We all know what Wale has been saying, on Twitter. People have always said that Wale was emotional when it comes to him being on Twitter and him expressing himself. Could have swore that's what the fuck social media was for, to actually be able to talk and vent and talk to your fans. But was he wrong for what he was saying about the Grammys? And I just look at this right here, and it made me even think to back when he first said it on The Gifted, New Black Soul. And we all know that, Kendrick didn't have an album out that year. He dropped the year before. And that Gifted album was one of the best projects Wale have done since Attention Deficit. I think we all know that. Not just the lyrics, the social commentary, the instrumentation. It was a great body of work. And yet, no Grammy nomination. Now, I don't know if it has anything to do with because he chose to do it with Seinfeld instead of somebody more like Kevin Hart, you know what I mean? Or grabbing one of these social media celebrities that does comedic shit on Twitter and Vine and all that weird shit. But he actually took time to give the fans something that they wanted, because this was an album that stems from a mixtape series that he had. And I even still feel with that's, in my opinion, it should have went platinum. Like, that's a platinum record. You hear the hunger, the perfection, one of his best albums to date. So that's that. But then he comes with the new joint with Seinfeld. Incredible body of work. Tops what he did with The Gifted, and I still love The Gifted to this day. I still play that album. But for them to not give him his credit, I don't think Wale was wrong for that. Of course, he said some other things. He was just going on what people were saying on Twitter, and Kendrick name got brought up, and, he said something about Kendrick. And then you see the tweet you see now. New Black Soul, unless you're Wale, then it's too many instruments and hard to understand. And then you see J-Rock get at him and say, oh, I see why you're not MMG. But why is J-Rock saying anything, and how is Wale wrong for what he's saying? You know, it's not picking sides, it's just being truthful. When The Gifted came out, everybody loved that album. You know, the album about nothing, that was another dope album. And if you fronted on it, then that shows you a sucker to me, because he didn't have to do that album. That's what people fail to realize. He was gonna do that go-go joint, you know what I mean? But then he was just like, fuck it. He gonna give the fans something to give, giving back to the fans, that showing them the appreciation of why he's here because of them. But it's just like nobody's rooting for Wale. I don't really understand that. He's always been an artist. For me, finding out who he was and getting into his music, that people always say, oh, well, Wale's hecka unappreciated, and, he's this and he's that. Okay. Artists are only like that because fans choose to just, cheat and steal music and won't purchase it, but yet praise the artist like, yeah, great album, but you didn't purchase it. You know, you're not pitting them on the same plateau. It's not even. And even when you listen to Kendrick album, he went too fucking left with the production. Let's keep it real. Nobody's willing to say that, and it's the truth. If you want to know exactly how Kendrick should have done the album, production wise, Lupe got that song out, and I was playing it in my last video. How Salas, or however you say it, y'all know the song I'm talking about. And I'm listening to that, and that's supposed to be a song from his upcoming album, Skulls. Perfection. And I'm like, this is what Kendrick tried to do, but it didn't work. And even with Kendrick, it's like, I get it. He got snubbed last year, so y'all making up for it. But you can't not recognize talent. That's crazy to me. That album Wale put out was dope. Now, if you compare it to Pimp a Butterfly, everybody's gonna say, "Oh, it's not on the same level." Wale talked about his drug habit and his personal life and things that was going on and yada yada yada, right? But Kendrick talked about the things that were going on, far as police brutality, his own inner demons and things he was going through, and it came off as a cool album. But if everybody was to be 100, why is he getting praised for shit Lupe was doing? Lupe started all that. Remember that? But he do one little thing and oh my God, we don't fuck with Lupe no more. Lasers was garbage. Well, why was Lasers garbage? It wasn't his fault. He had an incredible album set for Lasers. If you remember all the songs that was getting leaked, Lupe is still the only artist that had a fan or fans petition to get that album out. That's an impact. And I'm not hating on Kendrick. People always get that fucked up. I'm not hating on Kendrick, but I just feel like he's the voice right now. You know what I mean? So he should be out there saying, no, 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 no. Lupe album is incredible. You know, Wale album is incredible. You know what I'm saying? They still put J. Cole and them together, and half of y'all even say, fuck that. J. Cole raps better than Kendrick, but yet Kendrick is born, or Kendrick raps better than J. Cole. J. Cole is born. So y'all fans really don't know what the fuck y'all want. If To Pimp a Butterfly had the same production as Good Kid, Mad City, it would be no argument there. Flawless. But you can't base an album off just production alone. And that was the problem that people were having, with, Wale album. They'll say like, okay, the content is kind of there, but the production is really off. It really wasn't off. If you looked at the basis of him going into making that album, the album was dope. And then it's like, okay, J Rock album came out. I heard it, but it was like, all right, it's cool, whatever. I'm not a big J Rock fan. I'm not dissing him, but yeah, he did what he did on the album. It's cool, but that came and went. Same thing with Ab-Soul. It came and went. SZA put out something. It came and went. You know what I mean? Even the other cat that's on, TDE, it came and went. Kendrick seems to be the only spotlight artist on that label that they're willing to back. And Lupe said something that was so incredible in an interview. When it was an old interview, but he was at Hot 97 when he got on Rosenberg for saying that Kendrick put out one of the best albums in the last 5 years, talking about Good Kid, Mad City. And you gotta remember, in that time frame, Lupe had an album out. So many other people had an album out. And so what Lupe said is, how can you say you're the best when we know Lupe is who he is and he's listening and he hear inconsistency? You can't have a whack verse if you're the best. Period. You just can't have a whack verse. And that made sense because swimming pools, nobody likes swimming pools. Nobody liked that shit. First couple singles he put out, nobody was fucking with it. What was the one joint? Bitch, don't kill my vibe. Y'all only liked it because of the melody of it. You know what I'm saying? That album picked up later. But it's not knocking him. He gets all his praise. But the only argument I'ma always have with fans is like, I don't get if y'all deem something as a classic. Like if you look at Wale body of work from his debut album to his second album to a third album to his fourth album, isn't that consistency? Isn't it growth? And it's like Kendrick only on his second album, and that's dope. But it's like if he's this far, y'all putting him up there. He's this far up there. What are you gonna do next? That's what shit will get twisted. If you could, people thought he couldn't top, you know, his first album. Then he did that, whatever. So if he always at the mountaintop, what can he do next that's gonna shock y'all? This is when y'all gonna knock him down as an artist. But basically what I'm saying is to bring it back, it's like with Wale and the J-Rock thing, it don't really matter about J-Rock. It's just that Wale, I just feel like that is crazy. Like, he does the same thing as all these artists that make these radio songs and they make these songs to go on videos. Not saying Wale never had nominations for Grammys and shit, but if you listen to his body of work this year that came out, you trying to tell me not neither one of them songs is radio friendly, neither one of them songs is worth mentioning far as a song or a visual or performance wise? Like, that's crazy. I just don't understand that. And it's like it's foul. It's just like, what do y'all base a dope rapper off of? Do y'all base him off what the press say? He's number one because of this and that, or album sales, or concert performances? What is it? Because I'm confused. When you say lyricist, okay, he did a control verse. I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't think nothing that came out this year from any artist is better than Lupe Fiasco's Mural, Piece of Paper, Cup of Jesus, and that Lost in the Atlantic little EP that's out. You know, them songs floating around. Period. Lyrically wise, there's nothing touching that, in my opinion. Now, if you can argue that you can pit anything up against that, go ahead and try, but I don't think you could. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part where it's just like when y'all shun artists like that, and then when we get filled with all this bullshit rap, y'all gonna be mad at that because y'all not giving an artist that should be like any category as far as lyricists. It should always be a J. Cole, a Kendrick, a Lupe, a Wale. No matter the age bracket, it doesn't matter. Look how many years Hove was still in every category when he was putting out soul power music, and look at his age, right? You can't do that with rap because if y'all start doing that, it's gonna fuck up the genre. Even if y'all hate on Drake, he's earning everything that he did. You know what I'm saying? I don't really care about the ghostwriting shit, a couple lines. I don't want to hear that shit. Like, go back to his debut album up to this point and his mixtapes. Like, so knock that ghostwriting shit off. If you niggas think that he get his shit written for, you dumb as fuck. But I don't know what y'all think about this Wale shit. You think he wrong? You think he throwing another tantrum? I don't. I just think he being honest. You know, and I think honesty is not warranted these days. One.